This is going to be different than my usual D&D content. See, there is no real story behind my issue here, just a realization I've made with several years of playing and being a dungeon master for 3 separate games for 5th edition. See, I usually don't have a problem when it comes to edition and rules. I mean, every time a new one comes out, there's the relearning of new rules and such, which I'm okay with. Sometimes you need to change your mindset of what you need to remember, like THAC0 versus AC, or Fortitude, Reflex, and Will saving throws versus one of every ability score. It can be confusing, but worth it if you're enjoying the game itself. My real problem with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is the lack of focus when it comes to making new content. It's a really simple problem. In theory, there isn't much to complain about as long as the content is coming out. But that lack of focus really makes me not want to purchase these books. For example, Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. They have a fair bit of content, sure, but for the most part, I would equate it to the 5th edition version of 3rd edition's monster manuals. Books that were brimming with new monsters or variations of beasts from the other books, providing more options that are ready the second you crack open the pages. Seldom did a monster manual involve more than maybe a dungeon based around the critters within. And then this is where I have the problem with 5th edition's products, but it feels so all over the place. Take the Tome of Foes and Guide to Monsters. They're the closest that 5th edition has to monster manuals, but only half of the pages have the new monsters. Now I know they came out several months apart and have different focuses of content, but I would rather they put forth their effort to make one big 200 to 250 page book of monsters and nothing but monsters than to make a pair of books that just felt all over the place. Else, they could have made an entire book based around new races and sub-races from those 2 books. Some new player options based about how your tiefling got its demonic or infernal heritage. The first chapter of the Tome of Foes includes an entire section about giving monsters and NPCs boons based on which of the Lords of the Abyss that person follows. They could have taken any or all of these subjects and expanded upon them. Even better, put them in their own books based around that topic. Instead, we have one book that goes from talking about the Blood Wars, elves, dwarves, and halflings before giving stats on various flavors of how do you want to kill your PCs today, and another that goes, hey, want to know what hags, kobolds, and Wanti are all about? Before dropping that topic to toss more monsters in your face. If you're going to give me that info, why not put that where it's most relevant, like beside the monster's stat entry? I think the worst case is when it comes to Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I got this fairly early on in its release, and let me tell you, it makes me wish they did spend more time on the core 3 books. Beyond the many more race archetypes and newer or remade magic items, it includes so many other rules or improvements upon the already stated rules that would have flown so much better and so much faster. Falling rules, sleeping rules, more tools and additional things you can do with them, random encounter charts, encounter building, all the rules that were very much present in the previous edition's Dungeon Master Guide, now in a separate $50 book that's less than 200 pages long from front to back. It honestly feels like an insult. Now, I already know some people are going to be like, but Wizards of the Coast is a business, they make it like this and blah-de-da-de-da-de-da. But think back to 3.5. Their complete series and the Races Out books were fantastic. Sure, not everything was balanced, but it's 3.5, it wasn't exactly balanced in the first place. But each of these books had a focus. Complete Warrior was almost entirely about being martial or ranged-based badass. Complete Arcane introduced several new classes and rebalanced some more from 3.0. Races of the Dragon made me seriously play several Kobold characters. Races of Stone, they made dwarves more than poison and spell-resistant people living under the mountains that drink an excessive amount of booze. Complete Divine was essential to making an interesting Divine caster because of all the feasts and prestige classes within. And all because they had a focus. They picked a broad topic to focus on and built around it. And each of these books were $30. I do still love this game, and the worlds you can build within it. I just wish that the company behind it would treat it with as much dedication as they did in 3.5. Maybe then I wouldn't feel so bad for paying for a hard copy for their books. For now though, I'll keep what I've got, and hope that maybe they'll gain back some of their focus. Thankfully, where Wizards seems to be all over the place when it comes to what's in their books, there are third-party companies like the long time running Frog God Games, who know what they want to make when they're making it. In Frog God's case, they've been working on publishing book after book of monsters. Lots and lots of monsters. In fact, it was Wizards themselves who hired on Frog God, then Necromancer Games, to help with 3rd edition's Monster Manual 2. Since then, they've published well over 200 books from 3rd edition through Pathfinder through 4th and 5th edition. One of their latest endeavors was to bring the monsters they made from 3.5 and Pathfinder, introduce them into 5th edition, and then some. Their Tome of Horror book is 340 pages. 340 pages of monsters, new and old, variants and classics. Sure, you could use a classic land shark, the Bullet, or you could introduce a new, more powerful variant, like the Green Bullet, a forest-dwelling, flying armored beast that is in a constant half-gaseous, half-solid form. You got your classic gargoyles, sure, but how about one that has been around for so long and is so old, it has poisonous mushrooms growing on its stone skin, producing a horrible stench, and is able to exhale deadly spores that choke you. And yeah, you got your basic gold, silver, brass dragons, more than happy to help out the party most likely. But how about the Draco Miridae, or Mouse Dragon? Don't let its constant tiny size fool you. These little scaled mice are able to pack a huge punch through their breath weapons. It's these kind of books, this kind of content that makes me hyped and ready to play again. Some of these beings can be a little, what the F were you thinking? But even if they take older content, repackage it, and make it something worth looking at, worth going through 200 to 300 pages of other things, I would be happy to slide 30 to 60 bucks for a book as thick and as chock full of content to almost any company. Thank you all for listening to me rant on about a topic that's more than likely a moot point. I don't hate Wizards for what they've done, just disappointed in the direction that they've gone. Well, if you feel the same and want to show your support for the channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All this helps out the channel quite a bit, and if you're feeling the same as me about how Wizards of the Coast is making their books and have a little extra money, I've got both Patreon and a Humble Bundles affiliate link in the description below. Every little bit helps, and every penny goes to improving the channel, whether through buying games for Let's Plays, hardware for my aging computer, or software to help ease editing and recording. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Cheers.